Hi everyone and welcome to your playful vinyasa flow. So we're going to get started standing up for today's class, but I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the flow before we get started. Today we're really going to be looking at the idea of air and ether, so the elements, and moving in kind of a very freeing, a very intuitive way. You're also going to have in the background, again, I know this was loved by some people who were practicing, a little bit of the outside noise, some of the wind that we've got going around as the seasons change. I know that we can often miss kind of practicing outside as it starts to get colder, so it's a little way of kind of bringing that nature inside whilst we practice. But as I said, we're going to get started standing. You might want to grab hold of any props or blocks that you might need, and I'll see you in a second. So when we're ready, we're going to start at the top of our mats. So as we start to ground down at the start of practice, just taking a second to lift up the feet and place them back down. So really grounding in, making sure those feet are around hip distance apart, maybe taking a big roll of the shoulders back. So just inhaling, lifting those shoulders almost up towards the ears. Exhale, just allowing the arms to drop down, lifting up through the crown of the head. And just taking a pause. So you might want to take the hands onto the belly. And just at the start of practice, being aware of the breath, being aware of the body. So we want to practice with this idea of ahimsa today. So this compassion, this kindness for the body. So just noticing at this point how the breath's feeling today. So you might be able to feel the rise and fall of the diaphragm, of the belly as we breathe here. And we're not trying to change that breath or alter it. Just accepting it as it is as we start practice. You might take a sway from side to side. So just distributing that weight into the sides of the feet, maybe into the heels, into the fronts of the foot. Maybe you even slowly come up onto the toes, back down again if you've got the eyes closed. It's a nice way to practice that balance. So just really rooting in, taking that sway and allowing the breath to move you. So this is part of that playfulness that we're going to be working with today. When we're ready, just redistributing that weight. So coming into what would be our standard Tadasana, arms down by the sides. As we inhale, just drawing those arms up above the head, really reaching tall. Exhale, hands down through heart center, Anjali Mudra. Just taking this 2 more times. Option to take it as a releasing breath. So inhale, drawing the arms up, breathing in through the nose. Exhale, sighing out. Just 1 more inhale. Exhale, hands come down through heart center, and on this exhale we start to fold down, coming into our Uttanasana, forward fold, soft knees here. And just take a second, again, just taking a sway, maybe taking those hands to opposite elbows, staying with that breath. And then taking that left hand down in front of the left foot, we're just going to inhale, sweep the right arm up towards the sky. The right leg is going to straighten, left leg bends. Take that gaze and drishti up to the right arm as well. Just take an extra breath here. So inhale, feeling that long line of energy. Exhale, soften through both of the knees. Draw that right hand back down. Same on the left. So this time we bend the right leg, straighten through the left arm, taking it up towards the sky, peeling open. Gaze up there as well. Taking that extra breath, inhaling. Exhale, soften through both knees, come down, forward fold. Next inhale that we find, halfway lift, hands comes to shins, back is nice and long, gaze forwards. Exhale, placing those hands down at the top of the mat, stepping or jumping back, high plank. As we exhale, coming down through knees and chest, or your chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Now, whichever variation you stay with, just taking a few extra breaths here. So we're opening through the front of the chest. Imagining maybe that line going across the shoulders, across the chest, just opening up. Just taking another breath, inhale. Exhale, tuck under the toes, roll the hips up and back, downward facing dog. First one of the practice. So take a pedal out through the feet. Option here to find some spinal rolls. So be intuitive, allow your body to do what it's calling for. If you're taking those spinal rolls, inhaling, just rolling forwards as if you're coming to plank. Exhale, dropping the knees not all the way and then pushing back. So just taking a few of these. Just starting to wake up through the body. Eventually, just coming back to that stillness in your down dog. So feet hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart. So we inhale, sweeping that right leg up towards the sky. Keeping a closed hip, so not fully opening, not fully extending. Keeping the hands, arms where they are. Inhale here. As we exhale, stepping this right foot forwards in between the hands, we ground the back foot. If the back foot grounds at an angle, we inhale, sweep the arms up, find our warrior one. Taking a nice big breath in. Exhale, opening out, right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. The hips open out to the sides. The long edge of the foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, taking that gaze out over the right hand. And staying with the breath here, really pushing down through the feet. As we inhale, drawing the arms up, just straightening that front leg. Exhale, releasing back down. 2 more times, inhaling up. Exhale down. So we're flying that warrior. Inhale 1 more time. Exhale, release. And then from here, next inhale, sweeping this left arm forwards and round, almost like in a big circle. We pivot onto the toes of the back foot. Sweep both arms up. So we arrive in this high lunge. So we exhale, hands come down through heart center and Jali Mudra again. Pausing here for a second. Then finding a little bit of buoyancy through that front foot. We're going to see if we can kick off from the back, release that back foot and just take that balance onto the right leg. Head comes down. Hands staying in heart center. So we're coming into our warrior 3, finding that balance. The balance is difficult here for you. You can bend that front leg a little to help. You can take hands down. You can take hands down to the blocks. Whatever works for you. Option here, we want to jazz it up a little. To take those fingertips down towards the mat. We're just going to take it one time. We're going to inhale, just open through the chest. So legs almost staying where they are, but we're opening through the chest, through the arms. Exhale, just taking it back down. Next inhale that we find, sweeping that left knee in towards the chest. So a little bit of a challenge with the balance there. Maybe you interlace, draw that knee in. Taking 1 more breath here, inhale. Exhale, release that leg back down. And then just take a wiggle of the right foot. So just find some movement through the legs. Take a shake, maybe through the fingers, through the arms, maybe movement through the head, through the neck. Obviously being a little bit more careful. We're not going to shake the neck, but shaking hands, shaking feet. So coming in to take the other side now, taking these big inhales again. So inhale, really reaching up. Exhale, drawing those arms down again. Option to take that releasing breath. Just 3 rounds. Inhale. Exhale, letting out a sigh. One last one. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, hands down through heart center, bending through the legs, coming into that forward fold. Again, taking it to those sides. So taking the left hand down in front of the left foot. Inhale, drawing that right arm up. Taking an extra breath. Inhale. Exhale, drawing down. Coming to the other side, inhale, left arm sweeps up this time, bend through that right leg. Long line of energy, inhale. Exhale, bending both legs, sweeping down. Next inhale, we find that halfway lift. Hands coming to shins, gaze forwards. Exhale, hands down to the mat, stepping or jumping back, high plank, coming through your vinyasa, knees and chest, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, baby cobra. Taking a few extra breaths. We're opening through that chest, through the heart space, taking that gaze, drishti forwards. 1 more breath in. Exhale, tuck under toes, take it back, downward facing dog. Couple of seconds here, judging what you need. So maybe it's simply stillness in that downward facing dog, and then I stretch out through the back of the legs. Or maybe it's taking those spinal rolls again. So a couple of seconds here. Really asking your body, what does it need in this moment, and then just responding through the movement. When we're ready, back to that downward facing dog. Inhale, sweeping that left leg up behind us again, keeping a closed hip. So just keeping hands where they are, keeping arms where they are, just lifting that back leg. It's not going to go as high as if you were opening the hip. But inhaling here. Exhale, left foot forwards in between the hands, coming into that warrior one, back foot grounds. We inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, open out into that warrior two. And we fly that warrior again. So inhale, straightening through that front leg, taking hands together. Exhale, releasing down. So two more times. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale to release. Inhaling up. Exhale, coming down. And then next inhale, we sweep that right arm forwards and round, almost drawing a circle. We come onto the back toes, coming into that high lunge. Exhale, hands down through heart center. And then we pause. See if we can find some of that buoyancy. Lifting up through that chest, through the center, through the core. And then we see if we can spring forwards, take off that back leg, come into our warrior three. Again, option here to take the hands down for balance. Keep the hands at heart center. Or if you want to, taking that challenge fingertips down to the mat. And as we inhale, seeing if we can keep the legs where they are, but lifting through that chest, taking the arms up. Exhale, release down. And then drawing that right knee in towards the chest. Maybe taking a hug of that knee in. Exhale, just releasing. And again, taking a wiggle out through the feet. Taking a shake through the hands. And we inhale again. So drawing arms up. Coming straight into our forward fold this time. Exhale, release down, soft knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, step or jump the feet back. We're in that high plank. Seeing if we can hold for a second here. Not for too long, just one extra breath. Inhaling. Exhale, coming down, knees and chest, or your chaturanga coming through that vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Again, taking a pause here for noticing how the spine feels. Inhale. Exhale, we're just going to drop the knees and draw it back. So feet and knees, hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart, and just starting to move through some gentle cat-cow. So inhaling to lift that chest up. Exhale to round. Really making that dome in shape with your back, so hands are pushing down into the floor. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, round. An option to stay with this movement, to keep moving with the cat-cow, going at your speed, so your breath, making that movement last, the inhale and the exhale. Or option here to get a little bit more intuitive, to take some other movement, maybe some circles, really anything that feels good here. So just remembering that it's your practice. You might pad out through the hands, taking fingertips towards the outside edges of the mat, fingertips towards you, getting a stretch out through the forearms. You might choose to tuck under the toes and just push back through the hands. Anything that feels nourishing for the body. And then when we're ready, just finding a little bit of playfulness with balance. So coming back to neutral and pushing down through those hands. Just going to take the right leg out behind us. So just flexing through that foot. So everything starts to engage here. Core engaging. Remembering to breathe. An option to stay with that balance here. And just stay put. Or maybe you start to draw that right foot in towards the glute. You might choose to point the toes at this point. And again, option to just pause here. Or maybe if the balance is feeling good, pushing down through that right hand, lifting off the left and seeing if you can find that bind. So hand meeting the foot. And when it meets there, we're just going to push the foot against the hand and lift up through the chest. Just lifting up, taking that gaze forwards. One more breath here. Exhale, just gently releasing it down. Taking a wiggle with the hips side to side. And then just coming briefly back into a child's pose. So narrow leg or wide leg, whichever is calling out to you, arms reaching long, forehead just coming down towards the mats. And just taking a moment to check in. How's the body feeling? How's the breath feeling? So it's a moment of pause. Just reflecting, allowing the body to melt down. Sinking in towards the mats. And then gently peeling back. Coming back to all fours, so stacking again, shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. And then just taking the other side. So again, you might want to have a little wiggle as you arrive. And then pushing down through the hands, just taking that left foot off behind you. Flexing through the foot. So working through that core, Uddiyana Bandha. And then option to stay here with the balance or take a rest. You might feel like going back to that child's pose. Or taking that left foot in towards the glute, pointing through the toes. So really engaging through that back leg. And an option to peel this right hand off. The balance is feeling good. Take a grasp of that foot. And as we inhale, pushing the foot against the hand, lifting up through the chest, taking that gaze drishti forwards. Inhaling here, exhaling. One more inhale. Exhale, just release slowly, gently, taking the hands back, knee comes down again, just taking those hips side to side. And then tucking under the toes, lifting off the knees, drawing those heels back. Taking a pedal out through the feet. And we're just going to tiptoe the feet forwards. So taking baby steps. Coming back towards that Uttanasana forward fold, front of the mat, soft knees. And then we inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. So from here, you might want to shimmy off any extra layers if you have got them on. If you're feeling a bit warm. I'm going to inhale again, arms up. Exhale, soft forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, hands come down, stepping or jumping feet back, high plank. Exhale, coming through your vinyasa. Coming either into a child's pose or into an upward facing dog, baby cobra. Holding again for a couple of breaths if that feels nice. Taking one more big breath in. Exhale, tucking under toes, rolling back, downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale, sweep that right leg up again. This time, option to open up through that hip. So we're finding that rotation, but still seeing if we can keep the hands, shoulders roughly where they are. We don't want to open through that chest too much. So inhale here. Exhale. Draw that right foot forwards. And we're going to inhale, come straight up into that high lunge. So we're on the back toes. Exhale, hands down through heart center. And we're going to spring forwards again into that warrior three. So option here to take those hands down, fingertips down to the mat, and to fly that chest open against the same way we were doing before, and taking a few rounds. Or if you feel like it, option to take that left foot in towards the glutes again. We're going to take those hands off the mat if they're down there, seeing if you can find a grip of the left foot with the left hand. And as we inhale, reaching that right arm forwards, lifting through the chest, foot presses against the hand again. So coming into our dancer. Really focusing that drishti, that gaze on one spot. It's going to help here with that balance. One more inhale. Exhale, just gently pull everything back in, releasing that foot. And again, taking a wiggle out through the ankles, maybe some movement through the shoulders. Just coming into that other side now. Inhale, we draw those arms up. Exhale, release down, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, so halfway lift. Exhale, hands forward, stepping or jumping feet back, high plank, working through your vinyasa. Inhale, coming up, upward facing dog, baby cobra, or your child's pose, taking that moment of rest. Taking an extra breath if you're in that up dog. Exhale, draw it back, downward facing dog. Coming into the other side. So we inhale, sweep that left leg up this time. Option to open out through the hip, so finding that rotation. Taking a big inhale here. Exhale, drawing left foot forward, staying on the back toes. We lift those arms up, finding our high lunge. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. We see if we can kick off, coming into that warrior three. And all of those options are viable, whichever feels good to you. So it might just be holding the hands down on the floor, might be hands at heart center, might be lifting those arms up, opening through the chest, taking a few rounds, or potentially bringing that right foot in towards the glute, taking left hand behind you, finding a grip of that right foot. And as we inhale, she says, losing her balance, lifting up through that chest, coming in to find that dancer, taking the gaze up towards the hands. One more inhale here. Exhale, release. Take those wiggles through the feet. You might take a big sigh here, so breathing in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Rolling those shoulders back. From here, inhale, arms sweep up again. Exhale, release down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down to the mat, stepping it back, high plank. And rather than coming through that vinyasa, just dropping the knees down, untucking toes, lowering down to the mats, coming down onto the belly. From here, just taking the left arm out towards the side. I'm going to come into fallen angel. So using the right hand to roll the body over. So we're rolling on to the left side of the body. Feet stacked, head can come down, rest on the mats. That right hand is in front of you, so it's steadying. And just opening out through that chest. Option to deepen, so to take that right foot behind you, either onto the toes or the sole of the foot. And you can deepen even more if you wish by taking that right hand behind the back and just draping it down. Moment of stillness here. Just focusing on that breath. When you're ready, wiggling through the left fingertips, drawing that arm back if it's behind you, drawing the leg back too. Rolling back onto the belly, and then coming onto the other side, so this time the right arm comes out long. Using that left hand to roll the body onto the right hand side, head comes down, left hand in front of the stomach, and then option to deepen. So maybe taking that left foot back, maybe draping that left arm behind the back as well. So also taking this moment to check in with the body, what variation feels right for you. It might be deep enough to simply have that hand in front for support, to have the feet and the legs stacked. So just checking in. One more inhale here. Exhale, wiggle through those right fingertips, rolling back onto the belly. Taking those hands down, we're going to come onto the knees, so rolling back slightly. When we're here in this all fours position, just starting to walk the hands forwards, releasing forehead down towards the mat, coming into Anahatasana, open heart or puppy pose. If this feels really deep for you, you can drop back into a child's pose, so release those hands. Similarly, option to take that chin onto the mat to find a little bit more of an opening. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly peeling it back. Just pulling it back to kneeling. Again, taking a second to settle. And then taking that left hand to the outside of the right thigh. We're going to inhale, draw up. Exhale, right fingertips come behind us. We just come into an easy twist. So inhaling here to find the length. Exhaling to find that twist. One more inhale here. Exhale, release back to center. You might take a counter twist, so both hands just coming down to the left side of the mat, just pushing in towards the earth. And then finding the other side, so right hand towards the left knee. Inhale, we lift up through that chest, find the length. Exhale, left fingertips behind us, drishti, gaze behind us. Easy twist. Inhaling here. Exhale, slowly releasing back, taking that counter twist. Both hands come round to the right hand side, pushing down towards the mat. And then inhale, coming up. And we're going to start to move towards our Shavasana. So just taking bum down to the mat, taking legs out long. Now, option here, we've done a lot of opening through the chest, through the heart space. So if that feels like something that was really good and it feels like the body's ready for it, there's an option to take a heart opening. So you might choose to stack a block and a bolster behind you if you have one. If you don't have a block, you don't have a bolster, you could just use a pillow or a cushion. Option to also just take that traditional Shavasana, take it down on the back without any support. But the aim here is to really get yourself comfortable. Taking legs out long. We kind of want the upper back to be rested onto that bolster. Making sure the head's really supported here as well. And taking the hands back onto the belly. So back where we started that practice. So as we arrive here, just allowing that body to truly settle. Our Shavasana is our space to relax, to reset and restore. There's nothing to do here, there's nowhere to be. Simply allowing ourselves to be present with the body, with the breath. So you might notice if the breath feels any difference from the start of practice. Just asking yourself those questions. How does the body feel? And we really allow ourselves to melt down towards the mat, to soften, just letting go of any tension. And just knowing that if the mind becomes busy here, that it's completely normal. Completely normal for the mind to become busy as the body becomes still. So we're practicing with ahimsa, with kindness. We're not berating ourselves for the mind wandering. Simply allowing ourselves for a few minutes to sit with anything that might be coming up. So next breath that moves through the body, just imagining it entering in through the crown of the head, trickling its way down, so eventually reaching those outermost edges of the body, so the toes, the fingertips. As it reaches them, just starting to wiggle, starting to find that gentle movement. If you're on the bolster in this heart opener, using those hands, using the body to ever so slowly ease you out, helping you up to seated. If you're on your back, you might roll over onto one side and then slowly come up, but there's no rush here, taking your time. When we eventually arrive, just taking hands together at heart center. You might even take those thumbs up towards the third eye, so just in between the eyebrows. And just taking one more releasing breath, so breathing in, breathing out, exhaling, taking a moment of gratitude for finding the time to practice. Gently releasing those hands down, fluttering open the eyelids, just coming back to the space, back to the room. So thank you guys so much for practicing. I hope that's one that you can come back to, and it's maybe one with a slight challenge with that balance. So it might be one that you could do a couple of times. There are going to be so many more classes live on my YouTube over the next couple of weeks. If you do like practicing with me, please subscribe, please leave a comment, a like, let me know how you're doing with the classes. And I hope to see you all again very soon.